Well, here we go again. Thursday. Week's going kind of fast, don't you think? Month seems to be going slow, but the week seems to be going fast. Now that's weird. But I'm weird, so who knows? Okay. It looks like just about half the people, or more than half the people that are in Trump's cabinet, are in some sort of trouble with somebody, someplace, somewhere. Pam Bondi's spending too much time on television. Hegseth doesn't have a friggin' clue. RFK Jr. has been doing drugs again, I think. I don't know. Who knows what he's doing? So they're all having their own personal problems up there. But the problem with that is that their personal problems or their little issues with whatever don't mean anything. So long as they keep kissing Trump's ass and doing what he wants them to do, which in most cases is a lot of illegal shit. Now, at what point in time are we going to get tired of him screwing around with the government and putting incompetent people in positions of power? I have no idea. But I do think that he's going to have to get rid of some people pretty soon, or he's going to have serious problems. Now, that's just my personal opinion. Everybody says, I repeat this every day, we got to get rid of Trump. Yeah, eventually. But right now, let's get rid of some of the people that he's got in office. Let's see what we can do about regaining the impartiality of the Supreme Court. Quite possibly, I think you have to impeach the judges. So after that, we might have to wait for the midterms, which I don't think Trump's going to allow. And then when he doesn't allow that, for whatever the reason is, if we don't have a revolution at that point in time and the United States is done, I suggest states start looking for moving them and see if they can, especially the border states, get the hell off the United States, go to Mexico or Canada. The problem with that is there are military bases in all the states now, which we didn't have during the Civil War when they seceded from the Union. Now it's going to be a lot more difficult to do. You're going to have to throw the Army out first, or tell the National Guard. National Guard, I'm not sure. I don't remember my oath. I'm assuming my oath was to the Constitution of the United States and not to the state. They're pretty much, a lot of the states, like New Jersey's National Guard, except for the 50th Armored Division, is pretty much a joke. All the other units that are within the state, even those that are there are a lot of units that are attached to 50th Armor that are jokes. I don't understand how people can want to live in military and deal with military discipline constantly, or every once a month have to go get their hair cut special way or something like that, depending on the units they're in. Most of the commanding officers don't give you any leeway, because they get inspected too every once in a while by the regular Army. Those are the inspectors are people that have nothing better to do with their lives than try to make other people's lives miserable. But anyhow, looking at this situation, I don't think it makes a great deal of difference at this point in time what Musk does or what anybody else does, or Trump actually. And Trump's having problems. He's going to need enforcement agents, and I'm not sure for that bill. A lot certain issues within that great, beautiful, fucking piece of trash he called the great, big, beautiful bill. But we'll have to wait and see with that, because it's really a mystery as to who's running the government now. Pam Bondi is being accused of seceding the Justice Department, the Attorney General's duties to this guy Miller, I think his name is, and she's going to do all the personal appearances on Fox. And then she didn't realize that the Epstein case was all screwed up, that the memo came out, there's nothing on it. I'm sorry. Epstein's personal papers, somebody has to have them. His lawyers or somebody. And you go over those personal papers and you see who's involved with what. There's photographs all over the internet of Trump and Epstein. All right. Now, I don't know whether they're doctored. I don't have the technology to check them out that way. I think you have, and anyhow, I think you have to have the original, one of the original photos, anyhow, so you can try and compare them that way. But Trump and Epstein were, if not friends, were acquaintances, very good acquaintances, from what the photographs that I'm seeing. So how can you have a memo with no list of clients? All right, this is one of those situations that you see on television, where they can't prosecute a sex trafficker or something because he knows everybody. He's got the whole government in his pocket or something. That's a little strange situation, but I don't know. We'll have to wait and see there. I don't know how that's going to work out. I really, really don't. It's strange. I mean, it's... Well, no, mine for it. Sorry. Anyhow, it's strange the situations that they get into, and they don't understand them. I mean, you have a the Secretary of Defense that doesn't understand the word security. I think he needs to be given a copy of Webster's. Let's try Webster's definition of it and see if that works. Maybe giving him that, he'll be able to do a better job than he's doing right now. He has to understand his position. You can't go make, especially with a guy like Trump, you cannot go out and make decisions by yourself. You have to be told what to do. You're not an independent thinker. You have to be told what you do. But he's like, I don't know, the particular aide that Hitler had that would you could say would be doing the same thing. But pretty soon, I think some state, someplace, is going to demand that before ICE enters into the community or enters into the state, that they unmask. Now you say that's for safety reasons because they don't want their families attacked. That's fine. I can understand that. But they have to be able to prove they're agents. Some sort of identification other than a business card that says ICE. Okay? You've got people in there that nobody's sure about what they're doing. I think local law enforcement, and I think in New York City they're going to find that out, just how far President Trump is willing to go. If they get a new mayor and he refuses police cooperation with ICE, or only under certain circumstances, I have no problem saying, okay, well, you want us to cooperate with you? Unmasked agents only. That we can match photographs to ID, and they must possess photographic ID. Then they can come in, and we'll work with them and we'll help them. But otherwise, they're not coming in because we have no idea if they're legal or illegal. And just because they're wearing a nice jacket doesn't, and there's a nice commander there and everything else, doesn't make it legal. Okay. And eventually, you're going to see the very well armed and very sophisticated street gangs that have been operating in the United States for over 20 years. You're going to see some sort of rebellion, and they'll get a lot of supporters. That's the thing. They'll get a lot of other people involved, you know, and then that's when you start headed towards civil war. I'm not saying that Trump can't do what he wants to, what he's doing with the ICE agents. What I'm saying to you is that you can't have a bunch of masked men grabbing people off the street without any paperwork whatsoever, and they basically disappear. That's not ICE. That's Gestapo. KGB, Gestapo techniques. That's not American techniques. That's not, no law enforcement agency in America ever operated that way. If they did, well, I don't know about it, okay? I'm sure maybe the CIA does that, but I don't think they do it in this country, because they're not supposed to operate in this country. Contrary to what you see on a lot of television shows, their mandate is that they can't run operations inside the United States. That was the last I heard about it, you know. So I don't know whether that's still true or not. What was it, the Kennedy administration, because they got caught putting agents into colleges and whatnot. So they had to restrict the whole law enforcement had to be, undercover work with law enforcement had to be turned around a little bit. I still think there's some very good work being done by the undercover agents in the various police departments and whatnot in the country, but, you know, I'm not particularly proud of what's going on in the at the federal level. All right. Now, I read articles where Trump is disillusioned, showing signs of mental fatigue. He's collapsing on stages, and then when I get all this on YouTube from the various Occupy Democrat sites and stuff like that, and some people that don't bother to affiliate themselves with that, but they just repeat some bullshit. So my problem with those articles is that those headlines, first you see the headlines, and then if you watch the article, the article is not really showing you what they're saying it's going to show you. And secondly, then you get to then you go to the regular news. All right. Oh, Lucy's down there. And the regular news will tell you that they can't, they don't have any stories about that, and unless they're completely incompetent. I mean, I think they're definitely being bought off. You would see if the story was real, you'd see it. You know, so this is another situation where I don't know what's going on. You know, and you want to report a story and you're not sure that you can report it because you don't know whether it's true or not. So you know, to verify a lot of these news stories takes a lot of time and effort. I have the time, I just don't have the effort in me, okay? So I sit up here and I tell you about them, and I say, you know, and then I say, well, you know, I use YouTube for a lot of things, you know, and some of it dealing with the news and whatnot. And I'm beginning to believe that for a news standpoint, they can't be trusted. Even if they're saying something you believe, you know, even if they're anti-Trump or whatever, I don't think they can be completely 100% trusted because I can't verify it anywhere. And if the story is as big as they say it is, it should be quite easy to verify it. You know, just going over to MSNBC, CBS, or ABC, or Al Jazeera. I go a lot of places. In my cable TV down here has a lot of news stations, BBC and everywhere else, you know. And BBC gets a little difficult because they put some people on with some very thick English accents, and to me that's one of the hardest accents in the world to understand. So, oh, sorry about that. All right, so I guess that's about all the bullshit I can throw out here today. You know, to try and focus on the stuff that's going on is sometimes very difficult because it comes at you very fast, you know. And I don't do this full time. I'm not a professional by any stretch. If you've watched the show, you know I'm not a professional by any stretch of the imagination. My videos are very amateurish, but my opinions are my opinions, and I like to express them. And this is, you know, the way I do it. So anyhow, do me a favor, become a subscriber, or at least hit the like button, so I know, you know, so I know what I'm doing is. Or hit the don't like button, so I'll know that there's people out there that don't like what I'm doing, you know. But, you know, show some interest, and that'd be greatly appreciated. I can't give you any money. I can't promise you anything. I can tell you this: I'm not making any money off of this, and as of right now, I don't have enough energy to try. Okay, so all you guys out there, you can see what I'm doing over there. Those are all wood. That's my wood carving station, and that's what I'm going to go do now. So as soon as I get this posted. So listen, you guys have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow.